Hello, the doc is in, and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 184. And once again, we're back in Colony 2, and we're starting the chapter off with something a little out of pace. So, in the last chapter, we have Akari and his domain. It's really complicated. I did a video on that. You should go check out that video. And we see all the workings of that, and we see by the end of the chapter, Charles seems to be on the back foot. He just got kicked in the face. His nose is all bloody. It looks like he's going to be holding this L. And you would be safe to assume that in this next chapter, we would see Charles get his ass whooped and either die or join Akari, and they would team up to continue their mission. I believe their mission was to find Angel. Well, Gege threw us for a loop, and now we're looking at Panda. Beginning of the chapter starts off with Panda, and basically right now he's pretending to be a teddy bear, and effectively he's in like this area where he like can tell that multiple people have died, and effectively Panda's thinking about how whoever killed these people in this area is probably nearby and is likely a pretty high level sorcerer, considering the fact that they've somehow found a way to completely reduce or get rid of their cursed energy footprint. Think of it like Ki, how Goku was special in the beginning of the Saiyan saga because he was able to get rid of his Ki or reduce his Ki to a point where it looked like he was weak when in reality he's strong. And in this situation, Panda can't sense whoever the perpetrator of the murders is because they've reduced their cursed energy footprint, so to say. And basically, Panda's thinking about how he wants to leave this area soon, and he's kind of ended up in this space because, as we learned with Yuji and Megami, when you first enter a colony, you kind of get, it's basically like Battle Royale, but you don't even get to like pick where you land. It's kind of like you just appear in the sky and you kind of fall from there, and you can decide where you want to fall exactly with how much control you have of yourself in the air. So Panda's over here, and effectively he's just like, all right, I'll just sit here, I'll pretend to be a teddy bear and just chill out. But then he decides, you know what? I'm not going to be passive. I'm going to move. So he rolls away, and it seems like he's just going to pretend to be a regular panda and just kind of run away and hopes that he's either doesn't encounter whoever the killer is, or that if they do see him, they're just not smart and they kind of just like, oh, it's Panda, whatever. But as soon as he rolls away, he ends up encountering the person who committed the murders. And this is where the hype train goes up a little bit. All right, hype level goes from a maybe like a 6 or a 5 to an 8. Why? Because the person who killed 3 people in this area, as Panda guesses, is Kashimo. Kashimo being the one who had the most points in the game and was the one who was looking for Sukuna when we first saw them, and is likely an old sorcerer. Alright, so that definitely confirms the whole Jujutsu sorcerer kind of expert thing, and well, you know, that's just not a good thing for Panda to end up with. And so Panda immediately decides that, you know what, I'm gonna be a panda. And so he goes up on all fours. Obviously, he kind of like rolled and like he started off kind of like on 2 feet as he tends to move. But then he's like, okay, I'll just, you know, whatever, panda mode. And immediately Kashimo is like, I'm smelling some bullshit right about now. And he calls in the Kogane, I guess you could say the little menu NPC things. And basically he's like, is that a player right there? And obviously Panda's like, oh snap, he's about to find out I'm a player, and that's not going to be fun. And so Panda decides to kind of rush Kashimo to kind of get the drop on him before he preps to like fight him. And he closes the distance, and then the person who gets the first hit in the match is Kashimo, and blows a hole through Panda, just a hole in his chest. Gone immediately. Hands. And after getting a hole punched through him, he's like, dang, this guy's fast. Also, originally I thought this guy was a girl, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a guy. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it later. But anyway, so he gets a hole punched through him, and then Kashimo takes his staff and he basically uses his staff to kind of like leverage behind Panda's back and kind of like use torque to send him flying. He throws him into one of the storage containers that are around. And after getting hit twice by Kashimo, Panda basically comes down to analysis that Kashimo has some form of electricity-based cursed energy. No, he does not specify this is a cursed technique. He just specifies that his cursed energy is electricity-like. Similar to the way how Noi used thunder to do his attacks, it seems to have some type of similar connection to how Kashimo's doing his current attacks. And he notes how this also allows him to get internal damage in a sense, because the electricity obviously shocks all your organs and stuff, and obviously he doesn't have organs, but the electricity still runs through his entire body. And so Panda, keeping with this similar theme, he decides that the most effective way, he obviously decides to go in his gorilla mode to counterattack. So he uses his drumming beat and he slaps Kashimo. And Kashimo takes the attack and then counterattacks, alright? So Panda's made contact with Kashimo at this point, hits him with the big hands. On his body, Kashimo blocks. Kashimo then uses his staff to grip onto Panda's arm and snaps it off. Alright? The Panda's going on the offensive, it immediately is put back on the defensive, takes his arm, right? Then Kashimo uses the arm, he throws it at Panda and uses it as a feint to get behind Panda and then hits Panda with the wombo combo. Alright, 3-piece. Alright, we see he has like multiple heads, he's getting multiple punches off. It's bad. And then Kashimo basically does some like weird hand thing and he sends Panda once again flying into probably the same storage container or another one, doesn't really matter. But point is, man's looking mad beat up. Alright, he looks like he's been like a whole street fight and he was getting jumped, because it's a bad look. And Kashimo's like, bro, you're weak. Too weak. Alright. You don't even say he's not gonna kill him. Like, I just realized Kashimo doesn't even bother to be like, oh, if you give me this information, I'll let you live. He's just like, hold on. You're weak, but do you by any chance know where Sukuna is? And obviously Panda's like, shoot, I do know exactly where Sukuna is, but considering that you just beat the ever-loving dog crap out of me, I don't think I'm gonna give you that information. So he's basically like, I don't know. And Kashimo's immediately like, bro, I know you know. There's no way you say no clue. You definitely know. And so he's basically like, spit it out, I'll be merciful. Now, I don't know if I believe this, because as we learned from Megami fight with I don't even remember his name, but the guy he was going against, he was like, oh, sorcerers are just tricksters. So I wouldn't even be surprised that Kashimo was just capping. And especially considering how many people he's killed, considering that literally in Panda's presence, when started chapter, he'd already just killed like 3 people. I have no reason to believe that he would have let Panda live. But Panda's like, well, I'm gonna go into my sister core. I'm bringing out big sis out here. And I'm like, whoa, I was not expecting that. But considering the situation, yeah, you should probably do that. So we have Panda doing a little bit of like internal monologue about his sister. And so as we know, his sister's supposed to be shy, and apparently she's so shy that anyone who sees her or meets her gaze dies. Now, I imagine, I'm not exactly sure how this connects to his curse technique, but as he's transforming into the sister core, we see this weird, I want to say insect looking head, considering the animal motif that's going off. It looks like an insect kind of head. Now, insects I think are gross, but I think it goes for the vibe. Originally, I know some people were saying like maybe it was like maybe a dragonfly core or maybe like a cheetah core, but I don't know. It has a gigantic head thing, and it kind of looks like a bug. And I would be here about to tell you about how exactly, Panda fights in this sister core form. Well, we don't even get to that point, because Kashimo's an absolute goon, an abomination, and probably one of the top tiers. I mean, we could have kind of assumed that before, but based on the situation that's about to go down as I'm going to describe it to you, is top tier. So basically, we have Kashimo generating more electricity and sending off effectively a lightning bolt. And the explanation for this is basically that, once again, not mention their cursed technique, just their cursed energy. It's electricity like, and basically they charge their opponent, Kashimo charges his opponent with positive energy, and then keeping the negative energy in themselves, and kind of keeping it from going into the ground and basically fizzling out. And so by doing this, they're in essence able to send a lightning bolt. And so in this situation, Kashimo then proceeds to blow half of Panda's upper body just off, just gone. Like, if you look at this panel, all right, look at this panel, blown to bits. And the further explanation of it is that effectively it's like having a domain attack without the domain part. Because as we know, some domains have like the guaranteed hit. Let's think Gojos, let's think Jogos, etc. Guaranteed hit domains. You know, you got the defense or whatever. You can use like another domain, blah 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 blah. Well, those guaranteed hit domains, you know, you gotta do all that stuff. But apparently this guy could just throw out these lightning bolts and you simply won't be able to dodge, which makes sense because if lightning just tries to reach the ground. So if you're sending out a lightning bolt and someone else is supercharged to become super conductive, the lightning bolt's just gonna hit you. And it's a lightning bolt. So I mean, it's kind of hard to just dodge a lightning bolt. So, that happens. And the chapter ends with Kashimo repeating the line, "Where's Sukuna?" And I'm like, hey, yo, I don't even know. I don't. All I know is Kashimo's badass, and that's drippy as hell. And that ends the chapter. I had to give it, it's a pretty good chapter. I would say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Maybe an 8.5. 8.5 out of 10 at the very least. It's a very solid chapter. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, I don't, well, Panda's, okay. So here's what I'll say. What I'll say is, Kashimo's confirming the fact that, they're clearly hunting for Sukuna for a reason. Because the way that they effectively neg-diffed Panda and called him weak when he got the only hit he got off the entire fight. Because you even think about it, like you look at the chapter as it goes, he only gets off one hit. And even that one hit is considered weak. Even being called too weak, not just regular weak. Too weak is a wild description of somebody who's supposed to be, I wouldn't say he's like top tier or anything like that. But I would consider him like, in terms of like just a very off the top of my head scaling, I would say he's like maybe B tier in terms of like strength. And I guess if we were gonna say a thing, I don't even remember exactly what his grading is, but considering that we've never seen his sister core or anything like that, I would consider him definitely like maybe semi grade 1, grade 2, something like that. Because he seems pretty strong, all things considered. But despite that, Kashimo completely neg-diffs him and makes him look like an embarrassment to the Jujutsu society, like actually garbage. So a presentation like this definitely is deserving of a special grade, and somebody who desires to fight Sukuna so bad that literally any person who pulls up gets the "where's Sukuna" at treatment. Yeah, there's definitely somebody who, they can pull up on Sukuna. Now, of course, Sukuna is like a god in essence. So, I still feel like, this isn't like beating Sukuna, but I feel like Sukuna and Kashimo, if they fought, like if Sukuna wasn't immediately like pissed off or something and decided to like actually give Kashimo a chance. Like, Sukuna's having a fun time trying to beat this guy up. All right, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's gonna win. I'm definitely not saying that he has any chance. But this guy definitely is putting up the hands, and Sukuna's not upset about it at all. And I mean, the only other thing we can really talk about, I mean, besides just sucking off Kashimo, the only other thing we can really talk about is Panda's sister form and the implications of it, which, I mean, considering that it's rarely used, which would suggest that it's probably stronger than the gorilla and just panda form. And so, I mean, we don't even know if the transformation was complete necessarily, because as soon as the transformation like gets going, Kashimo immediately sends the lightning and blows away Panda. So I mean, it's really hard to extrapolate on it. I mean, based on the current level of transformation, I mean, we see like scales and stuff, so you can make a presumption that, oh, maybe it is dinosaur related or something, but we just don't know. All we can go on is just the visuals, and based on the visuals, you could say either dinosaur or maybe insect based. But even so, it still has like the body of Panda when you look at this. Also boobs. There's boobs on here. And the body and the figure itself became more slim. So obviously turned kind of like girl-like because he's bringing out his sister in essence. But even so, you know, we can't really figure out what the deal is with this at all. It's just because, you know, he got banged up. And beyond that, I mean, I can't even say I mean, based on the fact that Kashimo even bothers to ask again where Panda is, where Sukuna is, my bad, I can only presume that Kashimo knows that Panda is not actually dead. But even so, I mean, Panda could quite literally be on his last legs. This could very well be Panda's death scene. That's all I'm saying. Because unless someone pulls up to try to save Panda, which would only really be Hikari. Let's say he defeats Charles, and maybe he kind of like uses cursed energy to kind of like figure out like who the strongest person in the area is, and he's able to find Kashimo. Which is the only way I could really fathom Panda getting out of this situation alive. But right now, it's looking like Panda's dead. I heard this series is almost over. JJK is coming into its I think this is the final arc even. And yeah, I guess it's possible he's dead. I mean, we even get to see his final transformation. We really got to see the visuals, and that's about it. That's about it. But yeah, I think that's it for the chapter. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you disliked the video, leave a dislike. You leave a comment. Do you think Kashimo has a chance against Sukuna? What do you think Panda's sister core could have done? Did you think it was insect related, dinosaur related? What animal did you think it could be related to? If you actually know a lot about animals and you know all your different animals and stuff, maybe you just know exactly what animal it looks like. The head looks like exactly like this. If you liked the video as well and you think I'm pretty cool, drop a subscription. You can see, check back in with more videos from me every week, pretty much. This is, I think, the third video that's going to be up in a row. So, you know, that's pretty good. But, yeah, with that all being said, thank you once again for watching the video, and the doc is out. Peace.